In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the United Nations makes a grim find in an area hit by ethnic fighting. The endless agony of South Africans living in the nation's coal heartland. And in Kenya, protecting pollinators to protect the food supply. Africa 54 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. We begin tonight with a grim find in northwestern Democratic Republic of Congo. At least 15 mass graves have been found in the wake of 3 days of ethnic violence in December, according to a spokeswoman for the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the DRC. Earlier this month, the UN estimated that at least 890 people were killed as a result of the bloodshed, some of the worst in the area for years, which highlights the shaky state of inter-ethnic relations even in the DRC's more peaceful regions. A MINUSCO special mission looking into the circumstances of the fighting found at least 11 mass graves and 43 individual graves around the town of Yumbi, and at least 4 communal graves containing at least 170 bodies in nearby Bongende. A dispute linked to a tribal chief's burial is seen as a trigger for the fighting between the Banunu and Batende communities. It led the government to cancel voting in the area for last month's presidential election. While the fighting was not directly related to the December 30th presidential election, a local activist told Reuters at the time the tensions between the two ethnic groups had festered because Batende leaders were supporting the ruling coalition, while Banunu leaders backed opposition candidates. Sudanese security forces on Wednesday have detained the daughter of opposition leader Sadiq al-Mahdi. According to her family, 2 security vehicles arrived at Mariam Sadiq al-Mahdi's home in Khartoum in the morning and took her away. This comes one day after Sudan's security chief ordered the release of dozens of detained protesters. Mariam al-Mahdi is deputy head of the opposition Umma party, headed by her father, who is Sudan's last democratically elected prime minister and was overthrown by President Omar al-Bashir in a coup in 1989. Mariam al-Mahdi has supported a wave of protests that have shaken cities across Sudan since December 19th. Angry protesters, frustrated with bread and fuel shortages and other economic hardships, are calling for the end of al-Bashir's 3-decade rule. Rights groups say at least 45 people have been killed. The government puts the death toll at 30. Some 250 professors from the University of Khartoum protested on campus on Wednesday, demanding a new transitional administration to replace the current one. Over 500 university professors signed a memo calling for the creation of a sovereign body to form a new government and oversee a 4-year transitional period. Coast Guard officials in Djibouti say they have recovered the bodies of 48 people who died after migrant boats capsized on Tuesday. An official who could not be named told VOA that 16 survived the incident. In a statement, the International Organization of Migration confirmed the number of people who survived from the incident so far. The IOM says there were 130 people on board the boats, according to the survivors. A senior Djibouti Coast Guard official says they believe that the 2 small boats capsized amid strong winds and rains. The official said he believes the boats were overcrowded. He also says the Coast Guard has only reached one of the capsized vessels about 5 miles from shore and are searching for more bodies. The other boat has not yet been located. South Africa's coal mining heartland has the worst air quality in the world. That's according to a recent study by the environmental organization Greenpeace. The 12 large coal mines in this area make it the world's hotspot for toxic nitrogen dioxide emissions. Residents and health experts say the effect of these are ruining their health and their lives. VOA's Anita Powell reports from the coal heartland of Middelburg.
Patrick Mdluli developed lung problems shortly after he moved to South Africa's coal mining heartland.
The mines, the dust, pollution. You go to doctors, they ask you, they tell you the very same thing. Are you living next to a mine? Yes, I am. Are you living next to a dumping site? Yes, I am.
South Africa's coal industry is in Mdluli's backyard. This pest farming area of South Africa last year earned the unfortunate distinction of having the world's worst air quality, says Greenpeace. And it shows, says the head of one of Middelburg's main clinics.
Children and adults are paying the ultimate price. When we say ultimate price is the neurocognitive loss of neurocognitive development. Children's infant mortality rate is higher in our area than other areas. Adults' heart attacks and respiratory disease are much higher. So people are paying with their lives across the board because of these pollutants in the air.
Dr. Tayo blames the coal mining industry and poor governance. Residents say the coal companies have done little to improve the community.
One cannot be faulted in thinking, is there some level of corruption operating in this area as well, where these big boys are getting away with murder, literally. They're literally getting away with murder. It's just a reality. I mean, I'd like somebody to come up and dispute this fact and challenge me on that.
VOA contacted 3 of the area's larger coal mines for comment. None responded. Environmental activist Bafana Hlwatshwayo is lobbying to shift to a cleaner resource, the region's abundant sunshine.
We are not saying we want to close down the mines. We must go the renewable energy way. So when we talk about the energy renewable way, we are saying people will manufacture solar panels inside South Africa, and they are the ones who are supposed to install the solar panels, and they are the ones who are supposed to maintain the solar panels.
But that is a faraway dream from Mdluli and his neighbors, who complain unemployment is high and all of them, including the children, have health problems. The area, they say, used to be beautiful.
It's an endless agony now, Mpumalanga. It's not a bread and butter anymore. It's an endless agony.
Coal powers the vast majority of South Africa's power grid. It's what keeps this country moving forward economically. But for communities like this that live in the shadow of coal mines and lack basic services like electricity and running water, sometimes that progress seems very far away. Anita Powell, VOA News, Middelburg, South Africa.
East Africa now. The sale of Nile-parched fish Maui in Uganda is a lucrative business, especially for distributors. The fish Maui, or dried swim bladder, is used as an aphrodisiac in China. But Ugandan fishermen bringing in the parch say they are being exploited while others are reaping the profits. Ali Mathumani reports from Kampala.
Idris Awalusimbi began working as a fisherman 20 years ago. Now he has his own boat and is chairman of the Fish Protection Unit. He recalls when mostly locals enjoyed the Nile perch fish more, but now much of it is exported to China, where it's considered an aphrodisiac. Walusimbi says fish more prices have jumped, but fishermen see little of the profit.
You find that from the lowest fisherman, as you know, that he gains, but not so much. Then you find the middleman gains more, and the trader above gains even more.
A study by the Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization says the growing appetite in Asia for the swim bladder, once viewed as a waste byproduct, has created a multi-million-dollar export business. Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda earn $86 million. Uganda accounting for nearly half of the sales, making it the largest exporter of fish more to China in 2017.
That's why we want to regulate it, so that our fish farmers and, of course, the fishmongers and the fisheries sector really benefit from this very lucrative business.
International prices of dry moor range between $450 and $1,000 per kilogram, depending on the size, quality and market strength.
We have always known that it's a saleable commodity, but we sell it at low prices, so we have been exploited.
Fishermen sell it for lower prices to locals without the swim bladders, but fish processors want the entire fish. The Lake Victoria Fish Organization suggests fish maw be recognized as a commodity separate from fish. The Ugandan government is working to craft regulations for fish maw products. Athmani Halima for VOA News, Kampala.
From Sweden to southern Spain, from Holland to Hungary, populist forces have gained seats in recent elections, and they now smell power in Brussels. The European Union is gearing up for parliamentary elections in May, when the balance of power could shift decisively. But as Henry Ridgewell reports from London, there are growing contradictions within the populist movements, and they face growing competition on the streets of Europe.
An 11th weekend of yellow vest protests across France. Amid this fevered atmosphere, campaigns for the May European Parliament elections are getting underway. Populist forces, backed by the power of street protests, look set to make the upcoming vote unlike any other in the bloc's history, says analyst Michael Kotakis.
It's an opportunity to hit the piñata when the establishment presents it to you and get your policy opinions across. The height of a delayed populist political backlash against a long period of economic hardship.
French far-right leader Marine Le Pen is seeking to align her National Rally Party with the yellow vest protesters.
She understood that we were not bad, that we were just there because we were starving. That is all. We are hungry, we are cold, we need money, and money is given to all foreigners, unfortunately.
Across Europe, populist forces are attempting a coordinated assault on the May parliamentary elections. Here is Italy's far-right Interior Minister weighing in on the French protests.
I hope that the French can free themselves from a terrible president, and the opportunity will come on May 26.
Salvini is trying to form alliances with governments in Hungary and Poland. Their common foe, immigration. But there are major contradictions.
With Italy wanting other countries to take migrants, but Hungary, for example, having absolutely no intention of doing so.
Europe's populists are divided on many issues.
Italy is a member of the Eurozone, Poland is not. And then in terms of foreign policy, very importantly, Poland is a great believer in the NATO alliance, terrified of Russia, greatly mistrusting of Vladimir Putin, whereas Salvini openly has expressed support.
Political battle lines are being drawn. Several hundred self-styled red scarf protesters staged counter-demonstrations Sunday in Paris, waving EU flags. In Hungary, the same flag has been at the forefront of growing anti-government demonstrations. In Germany, the Green Party has overtaken the far-right AfD in the polls. Populists are fast discovering they do not have a monopoly on the street. The real test of strength will come at the ballot box on May 26th, a vote that could change the balance of power in Europe. Henry Ridgewell for VOA News, London.
Well, I want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa54. We are also streaming our show live on Facebook, so check us out and share our show with your friends. Find me on Twitter at VOA Vince Makori. Still ahead on Africa 54, protecting the food supply, one bee at a time. We'll be right back.
Voices, we're talking about the news and issues you're talking about, sharing stories of development and growth across Africa, around the world, and in our lives. Topics that inform, empower, and change the rules. It's time for Our Voices with me, Haiti Adams Fitzpatrick,
and Hadiza Kiari,
and Ayan Bior,
and Orion Itangi Shaka.
It's time for Our Voices.
As a massive blanket of frigid Arctic air sweeps across the United States, millions of Americans may be experiencing the coldest temperatures they have ever felt. Forecasters say that Wednesday's weather could make history. The Midwestern states of Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin are under a state of emergency. Bone-chilling winters are normal in America's third largest city, Chicago, but forecasters say the city residents can expect the lowest temperatures ever recorded in the city on Wednesday.
No one in need of a safe or warm place to stay will be turned away? No one. Any resident in need of transportation to a shelter bed or warming center can call 311. Our number one priority is the safety and security of our residents, especially the most vulnerable.
With the wind chill, it was minus 52 degrees Celsius in parts of Minnesota on Tuesday. At least 4 weather-related deaths have been reported so far. The cold air stretches from the Midwest to the East Coast and as far south as parts of Florida. U.S. President Donald Trump has accepted House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's invitation to deliver his State of the Union address in the House chamber in February 5th. The invitation came several days after a temporary deal was reached to end the longest partial government shutdown in American history. Meanwhile, the president faces an uphill battle to secure funding for his border wall, as well as a special investigation on Russian election meddling and lawsuits alleging that his businesses violate anti-bribery laws. White House correspondent Patsy Widakuswara reports on Trump's troubles.
After the government reopened, Congress is working toward a compromise on border security. If no deal is made by February 15th, President Trump has promised another shutdown or a declaration of national emergency.
The president doesn't want to go through another shutdown. That's not the goal. The goal is border security and protecting the American people.
Even if a border security deal is reached, with Democrats controlling the House of Representatives, Trump may face obstacles pushing through his legislative agenda.
Gridlock is one component of what's going on. I think the other major components will be, general chaos in the White House and, of course, the Mueller investigation. No doubt Democrats will engage in a vigorous investigative agenda.
Last week, Trump's longtime friend and advisor Roger Stone became the 6th key figure in the president's orbit to be criminally accused in relation to special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election.
I answered all these questions.
Stone was accused of lying to Congress about his role as a conduit between the Trump team and the anti-secrecy website WikiLeaks, which published damaging Clinton campaign emails that were hacked by Moscow.
I am falsely accused of making false statements during my testimony to the House Intelligence Committee. That is incorrect. Any error I made in my testimony would be both immaterial and without intent.
Meanwhile, the Trump Hotel is facing a number of lawsuits alleging that profits from official foreign guests violate the anti-bribery or emoluments clause.
Saudi Arabia holding a big gala event at the Trump International Hotel, so the president knows they did it. So that raises the exact concern that the framers, the original authors of the Constitution, were worried about, which is, are foreign governments currying favor with the president by giving him gifts?
Trump denies these accusations. His lawyers argue there are many reasons why foreign governments would want to stay at the Trump Hotel, and it's difficult to prove that it's done to curry favor. With these troubles brewing, Trump is expected to deliver his second State of the Union address on February 5th. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News at the White House.
The Consumer Electronics Show is the world's gathering place for all those who thrive on the business of consumer technologies. It has served as the proving ground for innovators and breakthrough technologies. For 50 years, the global stage where next-generation innovations are introduced to the marketplace. The annual event was held recently in Las Vegas. VOA's Azuma Kapaure was there and joins me to talk about the latest technology. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Now, I know you had a good time. There was a lot to see there, but can you kind of like take 3 of your very best of the innovations that you witnessed there and tell us about it?
Yes, Vincent, it's very hard. It's very hard. It was about 4,500 companies that were there and more than 20,000 new products introduced. So to make a choice, 3. So I like, being a biker myself, I'm thinking already about the bicycle airbag that this French company introduced. It's an airbag for bikers that just, gets activated when he feels like, fall. When you're about to fall, it just activates, and your whole, torso is being protected by this. This is very, it's very, something that is trending right now, because a lot of the companies are doing, those kind of innovation for the hips, but also for the torso.
So does this work for all bicycles, or does it have some specific, because bicycles are also different. I mean, there's sports bikes, there's some of those other bulky, leisurely one mountain bikes. Is this specific to anything?
This specific one is really geared towards the bicycles, more so than bikes, because motorbikes, because for motorbikes, the speed that you go through, is pretty high. So the airbag is not really designed to cover that kind of speed. But on a bike, bicycle,
any bicycle, whether it's a mountain bicycle or it's
that would
one of those
definitely
thin ones,
get activated.
That's cool.
I'm also thinking about another very cool tech innovation that was introduced there. It's a tech. It's not like a toy. They don't want me to call it a toy when I say that, but it's really for people that like to go on motorbikes.
Yes.
So they have a remote powered by artificial intelligence as well. That you can control via your smartphone. So when you drive, when you're riding the bicycle, the motorbike, you can actually from behind activate whether you're going to turn right or left. And when you go to or you reach a light, it actually lightens. So people can actually see that you're there. It's increasing your visibility.
Because of time, just very quickly.
Oh, so so we also have this last one, which is very cool. It's called the banana thermometer. And it's a thermometer that sticks to your baby's skin, and you can monitor the temperature, using an app on your phone, and keep track of all the temperature curves that comes to it. So I'm just gonna quickly,
kind of demonstrate a little bit what it is.
Demonstrate that to you.
Hope you have the technology to cut it open. You have to,
that's exactly what you're gonna do. So that's how it comes, and you can actually see that it's very light, and you can stick to the baby, because babies are very turbulent. So when you put it on the baby's skin, you don't have to try to hold his arm connected to it. And
it sticks
to the skin.
Oh, okay.
And you can monitor it with your iPhone or your smartphone.
Did they explain, for example, why the choice of the banana?
Well, I think they didn't really talk about it, but it's easy to think, because kids kind of like that color. And the banana is pretty...
And perhaps the shape works well with it.
It also works well.
Just finally, the few seconds we have, was there any visibility of Africans there?
So the Africa Tech Now corner was supposed to represent Africa there. But unfortunately, the initiative only was able to bring 2 startups from Senegal. So Orbis Payment and Kiki Zenzela. So those 2 companies actually work in mobile payment, and they were there, and they actually attracted a lot of attention from people, showing that African technology can also interest the world.
Of course, M-Pesa in Kenya, and now this one in West Africa is something.
Exactly.
Very, very nice. Man, that must have been a blast, being able to witness all those things.
Absolutely.
To see for yourself. Thanks a lot, Azuma, for
Anytime.
being there for us and coming to tell us more about it. We do appreciate that. So, our very many thanks to VOA journalist Azuma Compaore. Welcome back to Africa 54, and here's what's trending. Scientists in Kenya are warning that climate change and poor agricultural practices are killing bees and other vital pollinators. In an attempt to solve the problem and ensure future food security, the International Center of Insect Physiology and Ecology's Nairobi office has launched an initiative called the Bee Health Project. It's dedicated to enhancing the contribution bees and other pollinators make to food security across Africa. Now, researchers are developing biopesticides from plant-based materials in an effort to kill disease-causing mites and develop clean colonies of bees. It's estimated small farms could increase their yields by 24% through managing and enhancing pollination. Well, next up, the robots at the Enjoy Budapest Cafe can do it all. They serve up food and drink, tell jokes, dance with the kids, or just hang out for a chat with customers. It's staffed by a whole team of robots that aim to help familiarize the public with the technological revolution in automation and artificial intelligence. The robot waiters deliver food and drink orders to customers. Others serve up entertainment, such as a Pepper, a receptionist robot that can hold a conversation and also dance with customers. Now, despite fears that increasing automation and artificial intelligence will take away employment from humans, the cafe's workforce has doubled due to the need for its specialists to be on hand to keep the robot on good working order. Well, it's right. Is it right now to kick a robot when it's down? Yes, when the robot can get itself back on its feet. The four-legged animal, the robot is the size of a large dog at 70 centimeters when standing. The company behind the robot, Anybot, released footage of it climbing stairs and navigating the complex environment of an oil rig while inspecting industrial instruments using a camera mounted on a movable arm. Now, the developer, a spin-off company from Zurich, says Animal can pick itself up again, even when kicked to the ground. Water and dust-proof, its batteries last for up to 2 hours and can carry additional polyloads of up to 10 kilograms. Potential users include search and rescue work, surveillance, and in dangerous environments. And that's what's trending today. Now, that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings to Daybreak Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC. That's Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching, and from all of us in Washington, have a good night.